Hello everyone, welcome to a very big board game barbecue unboxing for the latest and greatest from Mythic Games. This is Super Fantasy Brawl. I have been very excited to get my hands on this game and it's finally arrived. And I have to say first off, this box is absolutely stunning. I love what they've done with the artwork, with the white sort of faded look and the logo standing out nice and bright there. So for those who haven't heard about Super Fantasy Brawl, it's a Kickstarter game that launched back in 2019. And it's basically a arena combat game, and you have a series of champions which you're drafting to basically win these fights. You can do that through knocking out your opponents, but that's not really the main objective of the game, although it is a big part of it. But there's also objectives you're trying to do, a little bit of area control, goals you're trying to achieve throughout this skirmish fight. So here we have just a few of the miniatures that are featured in this box. Unfortunately, they do not come as beautifully painted as that you see on the box there, but that is one of the things I'm very excited to actually get to do, is paint these miniatures myself. So how about we open this box and not delay any further. Now, this game will be coming to retail. It will have a different box. This box you're seeing is a Kickstarter exclusive edition box. But all of the content in here will be available in retail. There might be slight differences in some of the artwork, but again, like I said, in terms of actual pieces that are included, there's nothing exclusive. Okay, wow, this box is huge. It's really hard to get into perspective and scale about how big this box is, but it is massive. And I'm very excited to see this for the first time as well. Okay. Woo. Okay, so here we have our rulebook. Now, this is a really straightforward game. It's not complicated at all from the videos I've watched of it. It's pretty straightforward, but yet there's a lot of strategy and depth and thinking you need to do. So from my understanding, what you're doing is drafting 3 champions. You can do it in whatever combination you want. They each have different strengths and weaknesses. Some are a bit tanky, can take a lot of damage without fainting or being knocked out. There are heroes that do a lot of damage, but they're quite squishy and will take damage quite easily. There's a unique deck of cards for each of the champions. And basically what you're doing is you're drawing a deck of cards, and you get to play up to 3, and there's 3 different cores of magic. There's a blue, yellow, and red, so you can play one of each color type. And what you're really trying to do is combo the different cards that you collect together and basically try and win the game by scoring those objectives or knocking out your opponents. So that's the rulebook. Now, this is one of the Kickstarter exclusive bits, is these game trays. So you won't get these anywhere else, unfortunately. But is it necessary? No. Is it nice to have? Absolutely yes. I'm not complaining about this at all. So in this first box here, it looks like we have some of the cards. These would be the objective cards I was mentioning earlier. And these would be the cards for the characters themselves. So really simple, small deck of cards, not much else to it. But this is where all the action happens. Okay, I'll put these back in so I'm not mixing up anything when I try and sort this out later. Okay, so next up here. Now, I mentioned area control as one of the parts of the game. And let me just get all of these out for you. So in the middle sections of the board, I should say, there's 3 different areas, and there will be goals relating to area control revolving around these 3 areas. And just for the sake of having big chunky plastic, there are 3 beautiful statues that are associated with each of those areas. That is all they do. They just sit there and look pretty, but boy, do they look pretty. I'll probably snap to a few photos here and there with some close-ups so you can see the detail in these absolutely magnificent miniatures. So enjoy those photos. Okay, so we've also got some miniatures to have a look at. Okay. And again, I'll snap to some photos for you real quick as well. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'll do it in post, but looks like we've got Zhu Xiao, who's like a samurai tiger. We've got Guldar, who's a pirate, who looks super duper awesome. And if I'm remembering that right, this character is Gwaine, who's a mage. Very, very cool. I am absolutely loving these miniatures. They look ridiculously cool. Now, one thing I do have to say off the bat here is I got to remember which characters go in which molds, because it's not labelled exactly. Oh no, not telling the truth quite here. They have tiny little symbols engraved into those trays, so I imagine it correlates with some of the cards so you can remember which champion goes where. Very nice little touch. Like it a lot. Okay, next lot of champions. We've got this big orc dude. Can't remember his name. And what else have we got here? Perhaps I should pull out the names for you guys. But these, I just have to say, these detail, the detail in these miniatures is absolutely insane. So even the bases of them, like this one, has like a little bear trap in there. And I know this character, can't remember their name, but has a lot of trap cards that they can utilize. And traps are sort of one of the elements of the game as well. Players can lay down traps to push or pull other enemy champions into, to take damage or to snare them or to, do damage to them, straight up damage. Okay, so the big orc dude I was referring to, this is Kilgore. And the one with the trap I was referring to is Darren. So Darren has a crossbow and interacts with a lot of traps. And this one here is Marius, who's like a... I don't know what it's like a cross between a mole and a werewolf type thing by the look of it, but very, very cool. Like it a lot. Okay. The champions just keep coming. This is insane. Okay. Now we've got Arket, which is like an Egyptian bird. Very, very cool looking. And this is perhaps one of my favorites. We have Dugrin, the dwarf. Very, very nice. I love these miniatures. I'm going to have a lot of fun painting these. I cannot wait. And who else have we got here? We've got Sulka. She's like a snake goddess looking thing. Very creepy. Love it. Beautiful detail in the scales in this one. And I think this will be the last of our champions here. Okay. So we have Corvash. Now this guy's definitely an orc. Big, big sword. I know this guy is all about jumping into the thick of it and just smashing people. Very cool miniature. Love it a lot. And we've got... Oh, this is Marius. So he's a sort of a werewolf looking dude. Really cool bones and stuff on his shoulders. Love the detail in the cape. That cape sort of sweeping as he sort of swings his sword in motion. Really, really cool. And last but not least, we have this little champion, Kolel. Now, I don't know where the inspiration comes from this one, but she's riding some sort of chameleon mount and got like a blow dart gun. Really, really cool. I know this character's really nimble and sort of is a hit and run type of character. So I'm excited to see what all these characters do when it comes to gameplay. Okay. Now we've still got more bits. There's more bits. So here we've got bases. So you've got different colored bases that the game comes with. So I've got some purple and orange here, so you can click them to the base of the heroes so you can easily identify which characters you're using that you've drafted. There's some little cups as awards. I think you use those just to track some victory points, which is pretty cool. There's a coin here. I think that's probably for deciding first player. Nice plastic molded coin. Very nice. And we've just got some more organization bits here. So there's counters for tracking wounds. There's trap tokens, more of the little cups, just all the things to keep track of data that you're needing to know throughout the game. So it looks like these are cardboard tokens of the ones I was just showing you before. So you can either use the plastic ones or the cardboard ones. I would probably dare us to say the plastic ones are Kickstarter exclusive, but your game will come with these cardboard tokens. And I have to say that I do like the color in the printing they've done here. It actually looks really nice. I think I'd almost prefer to use these unless I paint up the plastic ones, which I probably will do, but that's okay. Very nice looking. And we've got, by the looks of it, these are the player boards. So these are the 3 cores of magic that I was talking about before. And you do have some basic actions that you can take by discarding a relevant colored card instead of using its ability. So there's planning, which allows you to stash a card for the next round instead of utilizing it. You can heal, or you can deal some damage, or you can just move. So those are the player boards, pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. And then we've got the arena board itself here. I'll see if I can open that up and let you guys have a look. And I'll just show you the artwork on the back first, because I think that's pretty cool as I was opening it up. I like that a lot. That is really, really cool. All right. So the board itself, this is what it looks like. So these are the 3 zones that I was talking about before. So your statues go there, and there's different objectives that relate to controlling the red, blue, or yellow zones. These are the starting zones where the champions will start the battle. And from there, you're basically maneuvering around each other, trying to hold these objectives, knock each other out. These little symbols here are for the trap placements. So there's 6 possible locations they can go, but they won't all be filled with traps. And along the side here is where the different quests get placed. And depending on how far they are along the track, you'll earn more victory points. I can't quite remember how many victory points you need to win. I think it's 5, but I could be wrong. But it's not a high-scoring game. These games typically play in about 20 or so minutes, and you can run a tournament style of gameplay where you do multiple rounds, do some draft picks for the champions, try different combinations. But all in all, this game, I think Mythic Games have some really big plans for this game. There is more champions they have in the pipeline. I am certain of that, because there is no limit to the creativity and replayability that they could introduce into this game. It's just going to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, if you thought that was the end there, you were wrong. So, we've got an expansion. And I thought we'd take a look at this together. So this is the Force of Nature expansion. So this is the one that I think will be available first in retail. But there will be certainly more coming. And I think they'll release individual champions, but I think they'll also try and do sets of 3 together, because I think one of their plans is that they want to sort of release sets of champions that have a bit of a theme to them, a bit of a feel that, well, obviously this one's revolving around nature, but from my understanding, there'll be a lot more to come. All right, well, let's have a look at this Force of Nature expansion. All right. So just some components, descriptions here. And we got a nice big game tray for this one that contains all of the content. All right, so the 3 champions in here. We have Taze, who's a centaur-looking dude, flailing these big metal balls. Very intimidating. Love it. We've got Lorelei, sort of like vine tentacle controlling person. Love this miniature. Really, really like this one. And last of all, this is probably one of my favorites, and boy, is this chunky. This is Nevermore, who's a Grim Reaper looking sorcerer. Very, very cool. And obviously, we've got here the cards for those champions themselves. Very cool. Well, that's all I've got for today, guys. This is everything that I've got. There was other content you could have got through Kickstarter. I think there was some neoprene playmats and other little bits and pieces, but this is definitely the main content for the game itself. But yeah, you will 100% be hearing more about Super Fantasy Brawl upcoming in the podcast. So go check us out and download any of the episodes that you wish on any of your favorite podcasting apps. This will get talked about quite a bit. I know we mentioned it in a previous episode, but that was just a preview at Virtual Gaming Con, where we got one of our team members, Steve, got to play with Sam Healy from Mythic Games and actually beat him, which was kind of cool. But that was sort of a preview and just playing online. But the experience of this game is in the miniatures and being able to have that tactile feel and that battle and the back and forth. So anyway, that's the unboxing for Super Fantasy Brawl. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you want to see more unboxings and more gameplay of us playing games online at Tabletop Simulator. You can join our Discord and actually play with us as well. We love to play games with you guys. It's really, really fun. We're very, very grateful for the community that's sort of come together for board gaming in Australia, and any of our international fans that have tuned in and listened to the podcast as well. We appreciate all of you. But that's it for today from me, and I'm very excited to talk about this more with you guys in Super Fantasy Brawl. Thanks again, and see you next time.